Welcome back to Retire to Rome. I'm LJ,
I'm Russell.
and we're a couple that recently retired gosh, it's been 7 months ago now.
Yeah, 7 months.
Time's flying by, and we are traveling the world in a backpack or with a backpack, not in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
backpack.
We each have a backpack and a carry-on.
Yeah, and we want to break down our monthly expenses for the month of June
Yeah,
2025.
and we do
And
have a set monthly budget that we're doing for $4,000 a month.
right. And when we left you last month at the end of May, we had just wrapped up in
Yeah,
Budapest.
we were in Budapest,
So we are still in, I guess, what you
Central
consider
Europe.
Central Europe,
Hmm.
and have been all month. We have another month before we go back to Guam, where our son and daughter in law are at.
Hmm.
So we want to show you what we spent for the month of June.
So obviously, more than likely, you're going to notice that the biggest expense you're going to incur while traveling and doing this type of travel is accommodations. So, what did we spend on lodging for the month of June?
Well, first of all, we should say that we did not have any airline expenses this month. We only traveled via train and
Yeah, we've
bus.
used some of the trains and the bus travel while traveling throughout Central Europe.
And we have not really done slow travel this month. We've moved around quite a bit. I think some places we stayed as little as 2 or 3 nights. And then where we're at right now, we're staying a full month. But our accommodations for the month of June were $1,473 and 54 cents. If
Yeah,
you're curious.
1474.
Yeah, 1474. So that is, we have a fly in our apartment. So that was a big chunk. The next was restaurants and groceries. Restaurants, we spent $383. A couple of those places where we only stayed a couple of nights.
Yeah, we didn't buy groceries or anything like that because we're only there just a few days. So
Yeah.
we just bit the bullet and done the fast food, or just found street cafes or just a little bistro or whatever, and spent the money that way. But the other times, we're like where we're at now. We've been long enough that we've got a kitchenette and we're buying groceries.
Right. Even, some of the places we stayed just for a couple of nights didn't really have anything other than a microwave, and that was
Yeah.
it, or a kettle. So we really didn't have a whole lot of options. So for restaurants, it was $383, and groceries, it was $341. So a little over $700 for food, I would say, restaurants and groceries combined. Transportation, we spent $207.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
I think that counted as the me and you both having the bus pass or just tram passes in Budapest, and then it also counts for the bus travel that we took to get to the different areas that we were going to, plus the train.
Yeah, and if we took any kind of trams or buses within those cities, that also includes the transportation costs. So, like Russell said, we've utilized buses and trains to get to even other countries here in Europe. So the train system in Europe is very user friendly,
Hmm.
and we have found that occasionally a bus is a better option,
Yeah.
and sometimes the only option that you have to
Yeah.
get where you're going.
And the earlier you buy your tickets, the cheaper the cost it seems to be. And a little pro tip travel here: if you're using the train, get the reserved seat. It's only like €2 to get it, and that way you're not standing for 30 minutes on a train waiting to get to the next area where somebody gets off and you can sit down. But yeah, for another $2, you can reserve your seat and you can go in there and pick it if you want next to the window or whatever. I found that out the hard way.
We sure did. And we learned that it doesn't matter if it was €2 or €10, we're booking our seats from now on, just
Yeah.
like with a plane.
And you can do that on the bus also. If you've
Mhm.
kind of got, like a lot of people get, travel sickness or motion sickness or whatever, you can go on there before you purchase the ticket, just like we've already purchased the next place we're going to on the bus. And you can get on there, and it costs a little extra, but you can get a window seat or you can get up front where you can see out. You're able to do that. So take
Okay.
that tip.
Okay, so back to the budget. We are talking about sightseeing. We spent just under $80. We spent $76.89 for the month of June. There were several places that we went in these various countries. As you know, most of the time we don't do a lot of sightseeing where it costs us to enter somewhere. Many of the places that we go, we will go around it or outside it and tour it and not actually go inside. But there were a few things that we did in the month of June that we felt like we wanted to spend that extra money.
Yeah.
So for the whole month, for both of us, under $80, I don't think that's bad at all.
No.
So I think we did pretty good there. There was some cell phone service. We still are paying $85 a month for that. A couple of other things were some coffees. We spent like $15 on coffee. Medical, there was one time that I had to get a over-the-counter medication for something I had going on, so it was under $10. So our grand total for the month of June was $2,868.54, which is leaving us a surplus of $1,131, which we were pretty excited about.
That's not bad for traveling, and we've seen in the month of June, I think we've seen 3 different countries so far.
I think so too.
That's not too bad for traveling Central Europe in June.
And we don't feel like we I don't feel like we skimped on anything. We saw what we wanted to see. We did what we wanted to do. And luckily, you and I both pretty much want to do and see the same things.
Well, we've been fortunate enough too that a lot of it is free. And then if you get your accommodations close enough to the city center, you can walk to a lot of that. A lot of that, is just where you stay and if you're willing to walk. So we've walked a lot.
And Russell mentioned a tip earlier. This is a tip as well, especially when you're in, I guess really anywhere. It's advisable before you go and spend money on a tourist attraction that you do a little research on it. I know there was a castle last month that we went to that we would have probably paid to go inside, but fortunately we had already done a little research and found out that the castle looked like a castle on the outside, but as far as the inside of the castle, it was basically just a museum of artifacts for that country, not really for the castle. There was a little bit of castle stuff, but it wasn't like you were walking into a true castle. So that kept us from spending that. I think it was $25 per person US that we would have spent to go in there, and we would have been really disappointed because that is not something that interested us. If we were going to see a castle, we wanted to see what a true working castle looked like back in the day. And that wasn't it. So that's another tip. So our daily average spend for the month of June was $95.62. So I'm pretty pleased with that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you get to looking and doing your research, and if you can travel Europe under $50 per person, which we're under $100, so I think that's pretty good during the summer months in Europe.
So far, 7 months into retirement, we've not had a single month that we have spent our $4,000 budget. So I'm pretty tickled about that.
Yeah, we have several videos on the channel. You can go through the playlist and you can see where all we've been and how we do travel for so much per month. And we'd appreciate it if you click the subscribe button and follow along with us.
Yeah, and the ones that have made comments, we really appreciate it. We read every one of them and try and respond to you. And we hope you have enjoyed watching our travels thus far. And like Russell said, thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day and safe travels.